Hello, everybody, and a very good day to you. And I just wanted to let you know that today I'm interviewing none other than the amazing Geoff Palmer, my wonderful vegan super mega bodybuilder friend who's basically in the USA. And we connected through all sorts of mutual friends in the health and wellness and fitness and vegan fitness field. Geoff, thank you so much for joining me. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
And thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Oh, it's so lovely of you. One of the reasons I wanted to connect with you at this time, Geoff, is because lots of countries are imposing curfews at the moment. So what we're going to be covering today, if that's okay with you, is your best tips and advice for what we can do to stay fit and well at home. Obviously, exercise is such a massively important part of staying well in general, but also for resilience when faced with really kind of virulent viruses like the current coronavirus, or COVID-19 as it's also known. So before we get into that though, can I just possibly ask you a little bit about your background, Geoff? Can you sort of set the scene for us and tell us what it is that you do?
Sure. My name is Geoff Palmer, and I own a plant-based fitness nutrition company called Clean Machine. I believe in keeping this amazing body that we're given as clean and as healthy as possible. So it's a combination of finding the best that nature has to offer as far as nutrition and things that will help with performance too. I think a lot of athletes these days are actually converting to a plant-based diet because they see big improvements in their performance too. Athletes across the spectrum, including like what I did, which was bodybuilding. I'm a natural bodybuilding and natural physique. For those of you who don't understand, I'm not the steroid type of athlete that is using drugs. We're completely clean and drug-free, and we sponsor athletes. As a matter of fact, we did the very first vegan bodybuilding championship in the world. So 100% natural, 100% vegan bodybuilding championship.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I thought it was so important to bring you into the frame with this discussion, because clearly something that came out with my discussion with Dr. Frank Sabatino a couple of days ago is that, and I'm totally on board with this as well, and all my research points to the fact that the way that we will essentially shore up our immune systems to be more resilient to this virus is by transitioning to a plant-based diet if we are not already eating a whole food plant-based vegan diet. So it's incredibly important, and what I think is so fantastic is that there have been, obviously prior to the virus, there have been films like The Game Changers showing how so many athletes, as you say, are transitioning to a plant-based diet. So what's your perspective, Geoff, about, before we get into sort of the exercise side of things, what's your perspective about the reasons why athletes are transitioning? Why is it that a plant-based diet is just working so well for people who are really at the peak levels of athletic performance, much like yourself? I mean, you're not a small guy. I have to say, when we met just recently in Florida, I was just blown away by your physique. You look amazing. So tell me a little bit about, why are plants so good for us from all fitness, sort of all fitness considerations and aspects?
Yeah, and for the first thing, I think the big question is where do you get your protein? And we now understand that all essential amino acids are made by plants. Bacteria make a few, but we're not sitting down to a bowl of bacteria for breakfast in the morning. So all the plants are where all humans and all animals source their protein needs. So that's not the question. More is, what are all of the other nutrients, all your micronutrients, your polyphenols, your antioxidants? These things help support recovery. And remember, exercise, physical fitness, is about your body's ability to adapt to whatever you stress. When you work out, you are stressing the body, and it adapts by adding more muscle, so it can handle that stress better next time. Well, that's exactly what these plants do. There are many plants out there called adaptogens, which actually help improve our body respond or adapt to the changes, whether that is running or biking or lifting weights. These are all stresses that we put on the body, and we need to adapt. And if we can recover faster, we can perform sooner and perform better because of better recovery. So
really interesting you should mention adaptogens there, Geoff. In fact, couple of days ago, I put out a little ebook just free for everybody to share on essential oils, particularly antiviral essential oils, how to use them, how to protect ourselves using them. And my next task is to write an ebook on adaptogenic herbs, herbs in general that are antiviral, and also adaptogenic herbs. The concept of adaptogens is so interesting. That's probably a topic for another day. So what I want to do is, obviously this is going to be going out not just to your fans and followers and so on, but also to all of our members and all of my followers within the Complementary Medical Association. And for those viewers who don't know what the CMA is, we're actually the world's largest professional membership association for highly qualified complementary medical, integrative medical and natural health practitioners, training schools, colleges, and also for companies that are producing the most amazing high-level quality products and services into and supplying them into the natural health field. Now, the reason that I mention that is because within the CMA, we have an absolute commitment to only getting evidence-based information out there. So that's the reason I wanted to come to you as one of the world's leading experts in physical fitness and talk to you about, Geoff, what should we do if, I mean, certainly in the UK, we don't have a curfew at the moment, but rumblings are that there may be something that we could be looking at like that. And I know certainly in many other countries there are, where people are absolutely stuck indoors and told you must not come outside. So Geoff, could you please, if I throw the floor open to you, would you just please tell us what we should be doing?
Yes. So one, for those people that are advanced and train at a very high level, this is an opportunity, if you've been training hard for a long period of time, to actually take a little bit of a break. So it's not a bad idea. Allow your body to fully recover. This is actually something that high performance athletes do as well. Take some periods of break to allow their body to fully recover all the way down to the cellular level. So it's not a bad thing to take a break. But what you want to do is still keep that blood flow going, keep the endorphins going. It elevates mood, it keeps you positive, helps brain function. Everything functions better when we move. So some simple things we can do are floor exercises like push-ups, sit-ups, planks, squats, just squatting even without weights. You do that enough times and you will be sore, I guarantee it.
Yes.
And then things like chair dips or chair push-ups if you're a female or if you're older and basic push-ups are a little hard for you, you can improvise with different ways of approaching it for every level of fitness. For guys, there's some little tricks that you can do. You can take water jugs. You can take a 1 gallon water jug, fill it up, and those become weights. Now you have weights. You can fill it to whatever your comfort level, if you're female or older and need to use less weights. You can go outside and fill up rocks or dirt into plastic bags and use them like kettlebells. So again, you can create your own weights. You can use books off the bookshelf, especially bigger ones that have a little more weight to it. And if you're even very strong, you can fill up a garbage can full of water about part away, and then you can use that to do squats and deadlifts with. So there are many ways that you can just improvise very close. Obviously, you can go online and purchase some exercise equipment. Bands are great. You can use bands anywhere, and you can hit just about every single motion in the body with bands, whether that's advanced bands or Bowflex style equipment that uses band technology, all the way down to Pilates equipment, or even if you just have a simple bungee cord somewhere, maybe in the back of your car or in the garage, you can use bungee cords. Any types of this tension. Now, one secret to try to improve that is to slow down the motion greatly. You do a 3 count, like a 1, 2, 3 count up and a 1, 2, 3 count down. And on the top, when you stop, you squeeze and squeeze. And if you hold that squeeze, that contraction, you're actually really creating a lot of force contraction, and this can give you a great workout even with lighter weights or lighter stress.
Wow, that's so interesting. Thank you. Because I was thinking, well, I'm sure that, you know, what we will be talking about are things that, you know, the sort of the ordinary person can do. But actually, I had no idea that even for very fit people, even for potential bodybuilders, I guess, you know, that they can actually use these types of approaches. So that's so interesting. The other thing I wanted to just throw into the mix there, Geoff, is I remember reading Arnold Schwarzenegger's statement about putting your mind in your muscle. I'm not going to try and do his accent. I'll leave that to him. But does that actually make a difference? I mean, I know that, you know, there have been experiments about visualization of exercise producing astounding muscle growth, even without any exercise. And I will dig out the study to that and I'll put it in the notes underneath this video because it makes incredibly interesting reading. But to your mind, if you visualize exercise and visualize muscle growing, and as Arnie says, putting your mind into your muscle, does that really make a difference? What's your experience with that?
Yes, absolutely. So there's a thing called TUT, T-U-T, which stands for time under tension. So you can actually just go up to a wall of your home and push against it. But if you push against it with enough time and enough tension, you can actually really stress the muscle. And you can stress the muscle in different ways because you can turn and push it from the side. You can do it from the front. You can push it from the back. So there's lots of ways you can push it. You can push with your legs. There's lots of ways. By holding that contraction or holding that push for a longer time under tension, you can actually deliver more force and more contraction, more stimulation to the muscle, and you can actually get a pretty good workout.
This is so interesting because I'm actually looking around and, you know, you're inspiring me. So I'm looking around thinking, now there's a door there. So if I held, let's say if I put my hands up and I held the top of the door and pulled down, I'm not going to be able to do a chin up because I can't do them anyway. But if I pulled down, that would put a lot of pressure on here and the whole sort of the chain down the back, and if I engage my core, then that would help. I was thinking wall sits as well. I was thinking about a door frame pushing against a door frame, and actually I was also thinking about, you know, actually basic isometric exercise, so pushing and pulling and all of those. So really there's no end to what we can do to actually keep ourselves in really, really good shape. However, so that's all resistance exercise. Yes. What are your thoughts about, I suppose, more aerobic stuff? Is that important? Should we be looking at that at the moment? And if you live in a flat or an apartment, jogging on the spot probably isn't going to endear you to the people living downstairs. I know I've got that problem with a very noise-sensitive downstairs neighbour. So what are your thoughts about that, Geoff?
Yeah, so there's lots of ways. Obviously, just by increasing the tempo or the speed at which you do reps can give you a cardio type exercise. So you can actually do a combination of resistance exercise, like doing the water bottles, except just doing them a higher amount of reps, and that can get your cardio rate up. Yeah, obviously, like running in place or doing jumping jacks or doing squats very quickly. Obviously, always do them safely if you know your level of fitness and work well with inside of it. But remember, like really intense endurance or really intense heavy weight training, both actually lower the immune system temporarily. Now, overall exercise long-term is awesome for your immune system. But part of it is that once you exercise really intensely for a longer period of time, like endurance or like very heavy training, what you're doing is building up a lot of waste materials. And then, of course, our immune system has to help try to eliminate that. So keep your workouts within reason. You want to get yourself into cardio mode, but you don't want to push it too much where you're actually lowering your immune system, because it's not good timing.
That is such important information, Geoff. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for saying that, because it is something that's often overlooked. You do see, don't you, with real endurance athletes, that they can really suffer with their immune systems. And so, yeah, it's a hugely important point there. And the other side of exercise exercise. So I see exercise as being almost like a sort of a three-pronged stool. So resistance, aerobic, and then I always like to think about mindful exercise. Like Pilates, a lot of people don't consider Pilates to be a mindful exercise. I think it is, because you've got to really put your mind into engaging that core and pulling up and really, you know, you've got to think about what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just doing sit-ups. You know, that's not Pilates, as we know. But what about anything? Do you personally do anything like yoga or stretching or Tai Chi or Qigong or anything like that, Geoff?
Yeah, and some of my favorites are a little bit more, because I like the fitness level of, say, Ashtanga yoga or what they call power yoga,
Yeah.
which is using a little bit more strength moves and holding them in position. Also important, using your breath work to help facilitate that, because oxygen getting to those muscles is very important too. Yeah, but there's so much, from yoga and Pilates to using bands, using basic calisthenic workouts. You can go online, you can go to YouTube or Gaia. The Gaia channel has some great yoga and Pilates workouts that you can do right from home. Just put them on and they will teach you how to do all the movements. So great time to do that at home. You can also order equipment from online, from Amazon or other things. Yes. Whether that's just bands or kettlebells or a couple dumbbells, you can do almost every exercise with a pair of dumbbells that's right weight for you. Yeah. But you've got jump rope, you've got ab wheels, you've got rowing machines, you've got treadmills. These are all available if you have the money to purchase them. And then don't forget about the fun stuff. If you got a trampoline in the backyard, now's a good time to dust it off and get out there and do some, or a pogo stick, or just taking a tennis ball and swacking it against the wall by yourself if you're alone, or with a partner. I mean, just incorporate a little bit of fun and movement in some of these ways. There's lots of ways to get active.
Yes, absolutely. I've got a group of friends and we're going to be doing online belly dance classes, which really break, you know, that you do break a sweat doing belly dancing. So yeah, so you know, that you're quite right. There's no end to what you can do. Once you put your mind to it and you start thinking really positively, really, you know, you can just get really creative, can't you? So thank you for that. Geoff, I don't want to keep you much longer because I want to make these interviews kind of like snackable so that people can, you know, sort of absorb them quite quickly and then go and action them. So we're going to finish, but before we do so, I just wanted to talk to you about something very briefly. Now, obviously, just kind of veering back to your lovely green products, particularly your green powders. I think it's clean green protein. I know that's your protein powder, and I think you've actually got is it clean greens? The actual. You see, the reason I'm asking you, Geoff, is because I have to say, I've been in supermarkets here in the UK and I'm finding it really, really difficult to get fresh greens at the moment. And I know there will be deliveries, but you know, it's just, maybe it's just the time that I've been there and I've just been really unlucky and I've been trying to shop for other people as well. So it suddenly dawned on me, oh yes, I should actually just put in, you know, powdered greens into my smoothies rather than my big bunches of kale and spinach and, you know, all the leaves. Would you say that's a good strategy for maintaining sort of your intake of green leafies? Does that work?
Yeah, especially I was in Whole Foods the other day and the green section was completely empty. There wasn't a single leaf of green in the entire Whole Foods. And you know, that can be a challenge for a lot of people, especially in food scarcity that we're dealing with right now. So having something, one, that is shelf stable, is not going to spoil on you, that is easy and can give you that boost right away. Yeah, I went out, most of the plant proteins on the market are made from isolated proteins. So you're just basically getting the protein and not all the good stuff, all the fiber, all the micronutrients, all the antioxidants, polyphenols. So I really wanted a whole food source of protein, allow athletes to get the protein they need, but also the omega-3s that are needed for muscle and joint health, anti-inflammation, but also that fiber. And so Lentine is an amazing plant. Do look it up online if you haven't already heard about it. It's one of the very first plants ever shown to have bioactive B12, especially important for vegans and vegetarians out there, but is higher in nutrient density than kale, spinach, spirulina, most of the top greens of the world. It's higher in essential amino acids and branch chains that we need for recovery and repair. And it's one scoop is 50% of your omega-3s as well, all naturally occurring in their whole food state. All it is just powdered. amazing product. And you know, when I think about it, people talk about, okay, COVID, it's mostly attacking people with immunodeficient problems, compromised immune systems, either by people who are sick or injured or by people who are elderly, both usually having depressed immune systems. And, you know, you look, okay, so about 70 to 80% of our immune system springs from our gut. That's our microbiome. And what does our microbiome feed on? Fiber. Well, there you have it. And the only thing that is found in fiber comes from is plants. So having a good source of fiber and a good source of anti-inflammatory omega-3s, plus all those antioxidants and phytonutrients, can be amazing for boosting the immune system. And that is the proper way, because look, every time you work out with intensity, remember, you're lowering the immune system a little bit. So you want that recovery, you want all those nutrients present. It's not just about the protein.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Geoff. What I'd like to do is afterwards, I'll grab your URL. I'll put it in the notes underneath so that people can actually contact you. And I just want to say thank you, a huge thank you, Geoff. You've been absolutely amazing, as I knew you would be. Incredibly helpful information. And I just think, I for one, I feel completely inspired by what you've just said. I'm just about to go and get my bands out now and do some, you know, just get those muscles flexing. Okay, so thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon. All the very best.
Thank you, you too. Thank you for having me.
Take care.